Okay. Well, good afternoon. Great week. Obviously, Michigan week. Very excited to be back at home. I've heard, obviously we're sold out, which is awesome. I think the students will be in full force. It's going to be a great atmosphere, beautiful weather, Saturday of the fall, playing football. So, against a very good football team. 4-1 this year. I think they're 10th in the nation. So a great challenge ahead of us. And just excited for one more step in our process of getting better and our process of building our culture and our team and watching our young guys play and watching our older guys that had some chances in the last game play and just see how good we can get and how much better we can get from last Friday evening. And that's kind of our whole process, is if each week we can get a little bit better, it'll give us a much better chance to win at the end of the game.
What are you seeing in practice or meetings or whatever that makes you feel good that the penalty issues are going to be a thing of the past starting Saturday?
I don't know if they'll ever be a thing of the past. I think penalties happen in every game. We had 6 of them this past game. We continue to look at the penalties that occur are not really penalties that would occur in a practice. And that's one of the, if it was false starts and offsides and holding penalties and even, let's call it DPIs. I know we've had a good batch of defensive holding and defensive PIs a few weeks ago. Worked really hard at that. Had a good bat for those to go away the best we can. Had a good batch of offsides and false starts to go away after the Wazoo game. First road game, huge road test, and didn't have either of those. As I was saying, as I've said before, you don't really ever know about a face mask until a game because you don't ever grab a player's face mask in the course of a practice. You don't ever get that close to players. You're not in tackling modes. You don't know about, let's call it, if someone's going to land on a guy after a screen or jump on a pile. Those aren't penalties that you would ever practice or ever see. So we continue to educate our guys about being disciplined and being knowing when to say when, let's call it that, and knowing when to not make a mistake that could cost our team. And that's what we're doing. We've been making some mistakes in the penalty world that has put us in some bad spots. And we've let up 6 touchdowns this year. 5 of those touchdown drives had penalties in them. We've been in the red zone 18 times, and I believe 4 of those drives have had penalties once we've gotten in there. So those are the things that we have to avoid. And you can't be in a situation where the difference of 1st and 10 from the 11 or 3rd and 18 from the 35 and expect the same result. It's not going to happen. So that's what we'll continue to work through.
4 Rose Bowls between these two teams, also a national championship game last year. I mean, how do you view the history between these two schools and this being a historic matchup, being the first time that both have been in the same conference?
Yeah, well, first of all, I mean, it's 2 huge brands. And as I've said about Washington, is that now that Washington is in the Big Ten, Washington and Michigan should be 2 of the biggest brands. You're talking about incredible academic institutions. You're talking about an outstanding alumni base. You're talking about national championship winners, right? Multiple, both programs. You're talking about the ideas of, playing a certain brand of football that's very familiar with Don James and Bo Schembechler. And the ideas of playing with that physicality and toughness, great defense, great running the football. I love that about these 2 brands. Obviously, this past year, it was a brand of a last Pac-12 team against the Big Ten team in the national championship. But as we can see, as we're moving forward in this new conference, the games against the Big Ten teams are different. And this game is going to be the epitome of those type games. Every game that, as I mentioned, every game that Michigan has had this year, you're talking about in the 20s. I mean, other than 32 that Texas scored, You're talking about running the football and playing great defense. That's what the Big Ten brand is. And to have that opportunity to get back at it with a program like Michigan is pretty exciting.
Michigan expects to have Will Johnson back this week in their secondary. What kind of challenges does he bring in terms of like play calling and preparing for him in that defense?
Yeah, I'm expecting Will to play. They've got two outstanding corners. We know that. That's a great challenge and a great opportunity. And that we have to, we feel really good about our wide receivers. I think I saw that we're the only team in the nation that has two wide receivers that both have over 400 yards. So really excited about the way our receivers are playing as well. I think it's an awesome opportunity to go against two elite, I believe one preseason All-American corner. And but I think both of them are outstanding. And I think their defense is extremely well coached. I have a ton of respect for Coach Martindale. As I've mentioned, I've known him and seen him for a very long time on the other sideline and know how good they're going to be on defense. And they've recruited to that defensive scheme since 2021. Since Mike McDonald left the Ravens to go there, then Jesse Minter left the Ravens to go there, then Coach Martindale left the Giants, who was at the Ravens with them, to go there. So that defense has been built a certain way, and it's going to be a great challenge.
Washington is favored entering this game, despite Michigan being the 10th team, according to the poll. I guess not necessarily about this game, but what does that say about the national perception of what your team could be this year?
Yeah, I think that, we could look at it in a number of ways. 2 third-down stops, 2 4th-and-goal conversions, a few kicks here or there, a few less penalties, and we'd be in a different position talking about rankings right now. But when you don't make those plays, we have to look as a coaching staff, what can we do better? And I think maybe when they make those decisions, they look at it as what do they think the matchups should be, and they make those decisions on, I don't know, favored or not favored. I know that we've got to play really good to have a chance to beat a really good Michigan team. And for us to do that, we've got to have the self-inflicted wounds at a minimum, and we have to continue to build confidence when we are down there and when it's 3rd and long, and if we can and when we are kicking the ball. And if we can build confidence in those 3 phases, I think we can have a really good team, and certainly over the next course of time, continue to build and get better.
5 games in, how would you evaluate Will Rogers' performance this season?
Really happy with how Will is playing. I think he's clearly making very good decisions with the football. He's got a very high completion percentage. He has an outstanding touchdown to interception ratio. He has done a very good job of leading the offense in regards to making decisions at the line of scrimmage. I don't believe we've had 1 delay of game penalty all year, which is an indication of his ability to communicate. He's done a great job helping Demond learn and get better. So overall, I'm extremely pleased with Will. I think that as every player in every position and every coach, we all want to be better. We all want to keep challenging ourselves to get better. And there's going to be more opportunities for Will to grow and shine, as there will be for all of us.
Before the season started, you talked about some of the things that Will would have to do in this offense that he hadn't done before, turning his head, a lot of play action. How do you feel like he's handled some of those, intricacies of your scheme that he hasn't been asked to do before?
Yeah, he's continuing to make explosive plays. I think we're, 7th in the nation or something in plays over 10 yards and top 20 in the nation and plays over 20 yards. And that usually comes from your ability to make play action passes in our system. In other systems, it might be off a drop back game. So I think he's handled that really well. We're continuing to work through any center quarterback issues that could occur. Obviously, that's part of playing under center that's new. And we've had a couple in shotgun as well. We motion a lot more than he's accustomed to in his past. So being able to recognize defense has been a great learning curve for him. And then, of course, playing with 5 offensive linemen, none of which played here in spring. So as we are continuing to build our system out, all 5 starting linemen and our starting tight end are guys that he didn't even get to practice with in the spring.
You mentioned, I think Monday, about the effort it would take to get Durfee on the field Saturday. You feel better, the same, the worse?
I asked him today. He was upstairs grabbing lunch, and I said, "How's it looking?" And he said, "I'm trying." So I'm very hopeful. I'm very hopeful that we'll have Durfee out on the field, but I do think it's going to be come down all the way till 4:33 if we're kicking off at 4:34 to see if we can do it.
In terms of your starting field position this year, you've started about the 25-yard line, your own 25, which is outside the top 100. What kind of focus do you have on that for preparation in the Big Ten? Field position is kind of a big emphasis.
You know, I looked at that today, actually, this morning on our starting field position, and it's the great benefit of goal line stands. When you have had, I think we had 3 goal line stands, or 3 times that teams have gone for it inside our 10. When you get those stops, you get the ball on the 1, or you get the ball on. I think we got the ball twice on the 1-yard line because of us stopping another team on the 1. I would prefer that than giving up a touchdown and getting the ball on the 25. So I think we just have to deal with that aspect of it, of field position. And then one of the challenges that I had with the defense was that when we get stopped on offense on the 2, can we as a defense go out there and not give up that 40-yard run and make them punt it and then get that field position back? What happened was in that game against Rutgers, I think we had a 90-something yard swing. I think that the offense got stopped on the 2, and then the offense got the ball back on the 5. Now the offense ended up scoring there, but regardless, the field position was the 1st and 10 on the -5.
On punt team, Denzel's received every punt this year. Is there any competition there, or what have you seen from Denzel that keeps him returning punts this year?
Well, I'd start by saying that last week I thought he did a phenomenal job. Like, those are very hard punts to field because of how they use their Australian type philosophy with the rollouts and the hold it, punt it, and then kind of give that, that side kick that he had to catch it really almost over his shoulder every time. He's done a great job in securing being the starting punt returner. And while we, always compete and have Jeremiah Hunter and Giles back there, and I think those are the 2 guys that we've been working through right now. Denzel has kind of secured his role right now as the starting returner.
Sorry, real quick, one more. Where do you see the next step for Will in his evolution in this offense? Like, what would improvement look like for him?
Well, I think that, in every facet, we all can get better. We're all continuing to try to grow and see, can we play that perfect game? Can we pitch that perfect, can we call a perfect game? Can we play like Jared Goff did on Monday night, right? He was, 18 for 18 or 19 for 19? That's hard. That is hard to do. But even then, he didn't have a perfect quarterback rating. I saw that he had 155.1. And I don't know how you don't get a 158.3 on that one, but hey, it is what it is. So I think our goal always is going to be try to pitch the perfect game, try to, go out there and hit every pass, try to make every good check, try to, secure every snap. And in turn, my job is to make sure that I put him in the best possible position to do that. I need to continue to get better there. And if I can get better there, maybe I can give him more chance to continue to improve. Thank you.